Trust me, I'm lying. Confessions of a Media Manipulator, by Ryan Holiday. Imagine standing at a deserted street corner in Los Angeles, late at night, 2 in the morning. You're dressed in black, tape and stickers in hand. Your girlfriend waits in the getaway car. What are you doing? You're defacing billboards. Billboards you designed. Billboards you paid for. Why? Because you understand a secret about how the world really works, how the news you read, the videos you watch, the stories that shape your understanding of reality, are often not what they seem. This isn't a scene from a movie. This was the reality for a young man named Ryan Holiday, a self-proclaimed media manipulator. He understood that in our modern world, the online media, especially blogs, had become a hungry monster, and he knew exactly how to feed it. He fed it lies. He fed it controversy. He fed it carefully crafted narratives designed to trick bloggers into tricking us. And he did it for best-selling authors, billion-dollar brands, and sometimes, just for the thrill of the game. The book we're diving into today, Trust Me, I'm Lying, isn't just a collection of shocking stories, though it has plenty of those. It's a confession. It's a look behind the curtain of the digital world, revealing the hidden machinery that drives what gets seen, what gets shared, and ultimately, what gets believed. Holiday pulls back the veil on a system where traffic is king, truth is optional, and outrage is often manufactured for profit. This isn't just some abstract theory. Holiday lived it. He orchestrated nationwide protests against a movie he was promoting. He faked leaks. He manipulated Wikipedia. He turned anonymous tips into front-page news. He admits, I am, to put it bluntly, a media manipulator. I'm paid to deceive. But this story isn't just about the tricks. It's about the consequences. It's about how this relentless machine of clicks and controversy chews up reputations, distorts reality, and sometimes, tragically, costs lives. Holiday realized the monster he was feeding had grown out of control, turning not just on his targets, but on the truth itself, and maybe even on him. So, settle in, because over the next little while, I'm going to share the secrets Ryan Holiday learned. We'll explore how the online world is wired, why things go viral, especially anger, and how easily the whole system can be played. By the end of our time together, you won't look at your newsfeed, or even a catchy headline, the same way again. You'll understand the game. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be a little wiser about the stories you choose to believe and share. This is the hidden playbook, the dark arts of media manipulation, laid bare. Host. So, how does this whole game work? How can someone, as Holiday did, turn absolutely nothing into a nationwide news story, seemingly overnight? It starts with understanding the beast itself, the modern online media landscape, particularly blogs. Forget the old image of a lone person typing in their pajamas. We're talking about everything from major newspaper websites and huge platforms like the Huffington Post or Politico, down to smaller niche sites and even influential Twitter accounts. They all operate under similar pressures. The core engine driving almost everything is traffic. More specifically, page views. You see, most of these sites make money by selling advertising space. Advertisers pay based on how many times their ads are seen, usually priced per 1,000 impressions CPM. So, quite simply, more clicks, more views, more money. Traffic equals revenue. This creates a relentless hunger. A newspaper might only need to fill its pages once a day. A cable news channel has 24 hours to fill. But a blog? A blog has infinite space. The site that publishes the most, the fastest, often wins the traffic game. Quality, accuracy, depth, those often take a backseat to speed and volume. As one editor put it, they look for writers who can get a story out in minutes, not days. Experience in actual journalism? That's just a definite plus. This pressure leads to what Holiday calls page view journalism. Every decision is filtered through one question. Will this drive clicks? This changes everything. Consider political coverage. Blogs know traffic spikes during elections. Elections mean money. But elections only come every few years. The solution? Start the cycle earlier. Holiday points to the example of Politico assigning a reporter to follow Tim Pawlenty almost 2 years before the presidential election, back when he wasn't even an official candidate. Even the New York Times wasn't doing that. Why Politico? Because by covering him, they essentially created him as a candidate. The coverage generated buzz, which led to more coverage, which legitimized him. Pawlenty eventually dropped out, but for the blogs, the goal was achieved. Millions of page views, months of content, increased revenue. They manufactured a leg of the election cycle purely to profit from it. This cycle repeats everywhere. Blogs need content. Greater than reality doesn't provide enough exciting content. Greater than blogs create or exaggerate content. Greater than coverage makes the artificial seem real. Greater than blogs profit. This hunger for traffic also fuels an obsession with scoops. Being first drives traffic. Sites like TMZ built empires on breaking celebrity news, sometimes playing fast and loose with the facts. Holiday mentions TMZ's infamous JFK photo scoop that turned out to be from Playboy. But they also broke real stories, like Mel Gibson's arrest or Michael Jackson's death. These huge traffic surges taught publishers a clear lesson: exclusives build blogs. The problem is, real scoops are rare and require effort. So, blogs perfected the pseudo-exclusive. This is where they take ownership of a story someone else broke, often by simply reporting it faster or louder, and maybe omitting the credit. Holiday recounts how Gawker allegedly took Tom Cruise Scientology videos unearthed by another journalist, posted them first, and reaped millions of views, while the original journalist got nothing. It's building a brand off the backs of others. This desperate need for traffic and scoops leads us to the manipulator's core strategy: trading up the chain. This is how Holiday turned nothing into something, repeatedly. It works because the media ecosystem is layered, and, frankly, often lazy. Imagine a pyramid. Level 1. The entry point. These are small, often local blogs, or niche sites. They're hungry for content, often understaffed, and have lower standards for verification. You plant your story here. Maybe it's slightly exaggerated. Maybe it's positioned just right. Level 2. The legacy media online arms. These are the online sections of newspapers or TV stations like Forbes.com blogs, or a local CBS affiliate's website. They often use the smaller blogs as sources. They might have slightly higher standards, but the pressure for content is still immense. The fact that a Level 1 blog covered your story gives it legitimacy. Crucially, these sites often carry the logo and perceived authority of their parent company, even if their editorial oversight is looser. Getting mentioned here allows you to say, NBC is reporting, even if it was just a blog post on their site. Level 3, National. These are the big players: CNN, the New York Times print edition, major network news. They monitor the lower levels for buzz. If a story is gaining traction on Level 1 and Level 2 sites, and perhaps trending on social media aggregators like Reddit or Dig, which bloggers actively submit to, the national outlets see proof that the story has potential. They confirm the story the smaller blogs broke, turning it into a national conversation. Holiday used this exact process for the Tucker Max movie campaign. Remember the billboard vandalism? He leaked photos of his own vandalism to small LA blogs Level 1. When he baited college groups into protesting screenings, local news crews showed up Level 2, alerted by the buzz on smaller sites. The footage from local news then got picked up by bigger city blogs, like those run by newspapers or the Huffington Post. With multiple links from Level 1 and 2 sources, he then used fake email addresses to tip off national outlets Level 3, asking things like, "How have you not covered this controversy yet?" The manufactured outrage became real news, leading to editorials in major papers like the Washington Post, mentions on Page 6, and even appearances on national TV shows. He created a self-reinforcing news wave. He even did this for a charity project. A friend needed funding through Kickstarter. Following Holiday's advice, he made a YouTube video, exaggerating certain exotic elements to make it spreadable. He placed it on a small Brooklyn blog known to be sourced by the Huffington Post Level 1. HuffPo picked it up Level 2. Using a fake email, he sent the HuffPo links to a CBS reporter, who did a TV piece Level 2, higher authority. He then leveraged pre-built connections on Reddit to get the CBS story to the front page Level 3 amplifier. This caught the eye of major cool stuff blogs like Boing Boing Level 3. Donations poured in. Nothing became something, funding the charity for 2 years. This works because of the link economy and the delegation of trust. Traditionally, reputable news outlets could reasonably trust facts reported by other reputable outlets because they shared similar high standards. Blogs adopted this, linking heavily to each other. I send you traffic, you send me traffic. The problem is, the assumption of shared standards is gone. A link on CNN might point back to a story on Gawker, which might point back to an anonymous tip on a tiny blog, but the link looks like credible sourcing. It creates the illusion of authority. As Holiday discovered when CNN nearly reported the bogus American Apparel hiring story based solely on Gawker's piece, the chain is fragile and easily corrupted. The blue hyperlink seems like it supports weight, but often it's pointing to air. So, how does a manipulator like Holiday actually feed the monster at level 1 and grease the wheels for trading up? He developed a set of tactics, exploiting the specific weaknesses and incentives of the blogging world. Tactic 1. Bloggers are poor. Help pay their bills. Many bloggers are poorly paid, often per post or based on page views. Some need to generate millions of views just to keep their jobs. This makes them susceptible to indirect bribes, giving away free products for review which rarely gets disclosed, offering commissions through affiliate links, paying for trips. Even simply giving a blogger a story that you know will generate traffic is a form of payment, helping them hit their quotas or earn bonuses. Holiday also notes the revolving door. Bloggers often use their platform to build a personal brand, hoping for a lucrative job at a bigger media company or tech firm. Giving a blogger scoops or favorable stories helps build their name, potentially buying influence cheaply. Tactic 2. Tell them what they want to hear. Journalists are dependent on sources, often self-interested ones like PR people. Online, verification standards are often lax. Anonymous tips are taken at face value. Holiday exploited this by sending fake leaked memos or images, knowing blogs loved the exclusive or leaked angle more than the truth. He also realized blogs love press releases. They do the work for them. Pre-written content, clear angle, someone else to blame if it's wrong. He started issuing releases constantly, knowing they'd get picked up, syndicated automatically on finance sites, and optimized for search engines. He even manipulated Wikipedia entries, knowing reporters use it for quick research, inserting carefully worded phrases or facts that would then get repeated in mainstream articles. Tactic 3. Give them what spreads, not what's good. If it doesn't spread, it's dead. Blogs need content that gets shared, liked, commented on. Accuracy and importance are secondary. So, Holiday designed his pitches around what he knew would go viral. What spreads best? Anger and other high arousal emotions. Studies show anger is the most powerful predictor of virality. Strong positive emotions work too, but sadness or complexity? Not so much. Holiday uses the example of the Detroit in ruins photo slideshows. The viral one showed stunning, empty architectural decay. Why? Because they evoked awe, maybe anger, but crucially, they omitted the people, the homeless, the struggling residents, the stray animals. Including them would be depressing, a bummer, and bummers don't get shared. Holiday deliberately used high-valence emotions, outrage, titillation, in American Apparel ads, knowing the controversy itself would generate far more views as news than the ads ever could directly. He ran completely nude ads on tiny blogs, costing little, knowing the idea of it would explode across the web. Tactic 4. Help them trick their readers. Blogs love misleading headlines, especially loaded questions. Did Glenn Beck rape and murder a young girl in 1990? Of course not, and the article quickly clarifies. But the click has already happened. The question mark provides plausible deniability. Holiday played into this. As a fake tipster, he'd ask rhetorical questions suggesting juicy scandals. As an official source, he'd give comments that deliberately left room for speculation. He let the bloggers run with the click-friendly angle, rationalizing their own deception. This tactic also leverages the desire for user engagement. Comments, shares, ratings, these generate more page views. Provocative or incomplete stories invite debate and angry comments, which is exactly what the site wants financially. Practical, useful, or nuanced articles often kill engagement. Tactic 6. Make it all about the headline. In a one-off world, the headline is everything. It's the pitch. Holiday compares modern blog headlines to the outrageous ones of the yellow press era. They have to stand out against infinite competition. Accuracy is secondary to clickability. Blogs even A/B test headlines to see which performs best. Manipulators understand this. They craft their pitches, leaks, or press releases with irresistible headline potential baked in, making it easy for bloggers to grab and run. Make it obvious. Make it enticing. Maybe even make it slightly too extreme so the blogger feels smart toning it down. Tactic 7. Kill 'em with page view kindness. Blogs are obsessed with metrics, page views, unique visitors, time on site, comment counts, social shares. Many sites display most popular lists, which then influence what editors assign and what writers pitch. Holiday realized you could manipulate these metrics. If a blog writes about your client, drive traffic to that specific article using your own social media channels or website. This inflates the stats, signaling to the blogger that this topic is popular and encouraging future coverage. You can even use services to buy cheap traffic like StumbleUpon to send thousands of clicks to an article, creating the illusion of organic interest. Blogs rarely check the source of the traffic, they just see the spike. It's an indirect bribe confirming the blogger's choices. Be warned though, once a blog sees a topic gets traffic, they may latch onto it relentlessly, even resorting to fabricating scandals when the real news runs out. Tactic 8. Use the technology against itself. The very structure of blogging dictates its content. Posts are typically short, often under 500 words, sometimes just 100 to 200 because readers online scan, have short attention spans, and dislike scrolling. Content is stacked chronologically, meaning older posts quickly disappear, discouraging deep work. Research often means a quick Google search or checking Wikipedia. Contacting sources might just be a quick email or even a tweet. Manipulators exploit these constraints. They package stories to fit the format. Short, simple, provocative, easily digestible. They know bloggers don't have time for deep verification, so they provide the story pre-packaged. The medium's limitations become the manipulator's opportunity. Tactic 9. Just make stuff up, everyone else is doing it. This is the culmination. The pressure to publish constantly, find angles where none exist, and beat competitors means blogs often operate with a stunning disregard for the truth. They latch onto tenuous rumors, anonymous tips, or even complaints on Craigslist as sources. They manufacture urgency, we're going live in the morning, to rush stories out without fact-checking. Small news becomes big news. Non-existent news becomes news. Holiday cites tech blogger M.G. Siegler admitting that much of what's written is bullshit. He gives the example of blogger Jim Edwards repeatedly misinterpreting American Apparel's financial documents, creating conspiracy theories that then got picked up by other blogs simply because Edwards' blog carried the CBS logo, lending false authority. One blog's fiction becomes another's source, trading up the chain until the origin is forgotten and the fiction feels like fact. These tactics paint a grim picture of how easily the online news ecosystem can be poisoned. But Holiday's story doesn't end there. He began to see the consequences, the monster attacks, and it changed everything for him. He points to iterative journalism, the philosophy of publish first, verify later. Proponents like Jeff Jarvis argue it's a process of learning in public, where the community helps correct errors. Holiday calls it a dangerous scam. It's driven by the need to be first and steal search traffic, rationalizing recklessness. Blogs publish rumors disguised with qualifiers we're hearing, sources say, report about rumors instead of verifying them, and create feedback loops where speculation builds on itself. The myth of corrections is central to this. Iterative journalism assumes errors can be easily fixed with an update. Holiday argues this is false. Bloggers are often resistant to admitting mistakes. Updates are often buried at the bottom of posts, seen by only a fraction of the original readers. Worse, psychological studies show corrections can backfire, reinforcing the original misinformation in people's minds. The damage is done the moment the false story is published. It spreads too fast and sticks too easily. Holiday experienced this firsthand with the Ear and Carmen, Jezebel stories. First, the false nail polish scare at American Apparel. Carmen, published based on a leaked internal email before getting Holiday's statement, used a fear-mongering headline, and even after receiving the clarifying statement, only added it to the bottom, leaving the damaging and incorrect headline intact. The resulting firestorm damaged the small manufacturer involved. Then, Carmen targeted The Daily Show with accusations of sexism, relying on anonymous and old sources, publishing before speaking to current staff. Even after the women of the show published a strong rebuttal, Carmen gave it minimal coverage, ensuring the accusation got far more attention than the defense. It was manufacturing outrage for page views and personal brand building. Holiday realized he wasn't the only manipulator. He points to Andrew Breitbart and the Shirley Sherrod case. Breitbart released a deceptively edited video making Sherrod appear racist. It exploded online, trading up the chain instantly, leading to her forced resignation before the full context emerged proving the opposite. For Breitbart, Holiday argues, it wasn't about truth or ideology. It was about provoking a reaction, getting attention, feeding the media beast he understood so well. Even being proven wrong didn't matter. The controversy itself achieved the goal. Breitbart's protege, James O'Keefe, used similar tactics with heavily edited videos targeting Acorn and NPR. The deceptive editing was exposed later, but only after reputations were ruined and organizations damaged. The system enables a form of extortion via the web. Sometimes it's explicit, like the video producer threatening Don Ann with a negative viral video unless paid. Often it's implicit, blogs demanding special treatment, early access, or else risking negative or blindsided coverage. Companies live in fear of inaccurate rumors or manufactured scandals exploding online, forcing them into constant defensive PR or hiring reputation management firms. Snark also plays a destructive role. What seems like harmless humor often serves to shut down conversation, dismiss subjects without argument, and punish vulnerability. Holiday recounts using snark defensively for a client but also seeing how it can be weaponized to destroy reputations, like what happened to Dilbert creator Scott Adams after a controversial blog post. Snark thrives because it's easy, gets clicks, and allows the writer to feel superior without offering solutions. Ultimately, this online environment facilitates modern degradation ceremonies. Just as societies once used public executions or witch trials, blogs can single out individuals, amplify accusations true or not, and orchestrate their public shaming and expulsion from the group. Holiday points to the swift downfall of Julian Assange, whose public image flipped from hero to pariah almost overnight once sexual misconduct allegations surfaced, providing the perfect fodder for a takedown. The blogs didn't necessarily care about the truth of the allegations. They needed a new narrative, and destruction sells. All of this culminates in what Holiday, borrowing from Daniel Boorstin, calls unreality, a world where the line between real events and manufactured pseudo-events like press conferences, product launches, or even leaked documents designed purely for media attention is hopelessly blurred, where the news is shaped not by importance but by clickability and spreadability, where misinformation, amplified by the interconnected but uncritical nature of the link economy and iterative journalism, can shape real-world decisions, from hiring practices to stock prices to, as Holiday grimly notes with the Dick Cheney example, even going to war. Holiday concludes with a sense of disillusionment and a warning. He admits his own role in building and exploiting this broken system. He argues that the fundamental incentives, the relentless chase for page views funded by advertising that doesn't care about quality, are flawed. He suggests that models focused on reader value, like the New York Times paywall forcing them to produce must-read content, might offer a different path. He urges readers to be critical, to question the source and the motive behind every story, to understand that information rarely finds you because it's important, but often because it was engineered to provoke a reaction. He fed the monster, And he argues, in many ways, we all do. Bloggers, publishers, marketers, and even readers who click and share without thinking. Recognizing the game, understanding the incentives, is the first step toward demanding something better, or at least, not being so easily fooled. Host. It's quite a journey, isn't it? From defacing billboards under the cover of darkness to pulling back the curtain on the entire digital media machine. What Ryan Holiday reveals in Trust Me, I'm Lying is unsettling, perhaps even deeply cynical, but it feels undeniably important. He paints a picture of a world where the very systems designed to inform us are often incentivized to do the opposite, to distract, to provoke, to sensationalize, all in the name of capturing our fleeting attention for profit. The monster isn't just the blogs or the manipulators. It's the ecosystem itself, built on a foundation of clicks and speed, where truth often becomes a casualty. The tactics he outlines? Trading up the chain, exploiting bloggers' financial pressures, using headlines as bait, manufacturing virality through emotion, the whole iterative publish now, fix later mentality, they aren't just theoretical. He gives concrete examples, confessions from his own career, showing precisely how the sausage is made. And it's often not pretty. But what strikes me most isn't just the how, it's the why and the what now. Why does this system persist? Because, as Holiday argues, it works, financially, at least, for those who play the game well. And what now? That's the harder question. Holiday doesn't offer easy answers. He admits his own complicity. But his act of confession serves as a powerful call for awareness. He asks us, implicitly, to be more discerning consumers of information. What can we take away from this, practically speaking? First, question the urgency. When you see breaking or frantic updates, ask yourself if the speed serves you, the reader, or the publisher chasing clicks. Real understanding often takes time. Second, look past the headline. Headlines are designed to grab you, often by exaggerating or misleading. Read the actual article, critically, before forming an opinion or sharing. Ask if the content truly supports the sensational claim. Third, consider the source's incentives. Why is this blog covering this story in this way? Are they driven by page views? Do they have a known bias? Are they relying heavily on anonymous sources or simply linking to other blogs without adding original reporting? Understanding the why behind the what is crucial. Fourth, be mindful of your own emotional reactions. Holiday shows how anger, outrage, and even strong positive feelings are deliberately targeted because they make content spread. If a story makes you intensely emotional, pause. Ask if that emotion is being manipulated. This book serves as a stark reminder that the digital world we inhabit is not a neutral space. It's a battleground for attention. And the weapons used often rely on exploiting our psychological triggers and the media's economic vulnerabilities. Holiday's journey from master manipulator to cautionary voice is a compelling narrative in itself, a peek into the engine room of modern culture. It leaves you wondering about the true cost of the free, instant information we've grown so accustomed to. That was a deep dive into Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday. We've journeyed through the core tactics and troubling consequences laid out in the book, but honestly, a summary like this, even a detailed one, only scratches the surface. The real power of Holiday's work is in the texture, the specific stories, the moments where you see the gears turning in his mind as he pulls off these manipulations, and later, as he grapples with the fallout. This overview is here to spark your curiosity, to help you gauge if this exploration resonates with how you see the world online. If you felt that nagging sense that something isn't quite right with how information flows, or if you're fascinated by the hidden mechanics of influence, then picking up a copy of the book itself is the next step. Reading it isn't just about learning the tricks, it's about fundamentally recalibrating how you consume media and understand the forces shaping public perception. You can find a link to the book in the description below. And, if this journey through the often murky world of media manipulation has given you some food for thought, please consider giving this summary a like and subscribing to Billionaire's Bookshelf. We delve into powerful books like this regularly, aiming to extract the wisdom that can help us navigate our world a little better. Join us next time as we unlock the lessons from another impactful title. Let's keep learning and growing together.